He's walked through storms, unshaken, unbowed. Through trials and verdicts, still standing proud. A titan in the tempest, against the raging crowd. He's got a vision for the future, gonna shout it loud. Changing the wind, it's coming fast. A new foundation built to last. Cryptocurrency's the key, make the big switch. Power to the people, time to teach the rich. Legal battles can't hold him, he's moving on. With plans so bold, from dusk till dawn. He's rewriting the rules, a new dawn's day. From the hands of the few to the people's way.
Hey. Welcome everyone to the Crazy Cryptonaut channel. I am Zester, and thank you guys so much for joining me on Trump Day. Hope everyone is having an awesome middle of the week. What's up, Kukla? Happy Trump Day to you as well. And what's up, Trish? Happy Trump Day. Howdy there, Linda Hearn, Crazy Chester, and well, I think everybody out there, especially all the XRP holders, today is not only the normal excitement of Trump Day, it's also the first Trump Day since the SEC has finally dropped all charges against XRP. And so XRP is free, finally free. And so that's also very exciting. We're going to talk about that one. And it seems so funny that we literally were talking about some of the things that could affect the price of XRP and some of the things that would possibly be that catalyst for some price action on Monday, and saying that it could be any day. And well, it turns out it was literally less than 24 hours after we had that stream on Monday evening. And so we're going to talk about that one in a bit. Kukla, you stay careful with the thunderstorms hitting the area. Definitely do. Howdy there, Gary. Hi, Zester. I'm number 5. Click and like. Much appreciated, Gary. Did you hear about the malware disguised as a kitten meme? The damage it caused was catastrophic. All right, Gary, you got me. What's up, Crypto Warden? Great day for Ripple. Absolutely is. We're going to be talking about Ripple pretty much for the entire stream today, besides any questions that folks may have. Otherwise, yeah, well, we only have one article that isn't talking about Ripple pretty much. Howdy there, Kay. Howdy there, Hot Rod Tilly. Welcome, Kim and GG. Oh, how's it going, Bear and Patty? Oh, howdy there, Fruit Ninja. Anybody else ever play that game on the phone when it was like crazy popular? Was it Fruit? I think it was Fruit Ninja. I'm guessing that you must be an absolute pro at the game there, Fruit Ninja. CEH, private natural body. Zester, any way to give a class on cold wallets or advice on a good YouTube video to watch on transferring to a cold wallet? I am so confused. CEH, I do have recorded videos on the Crazy Cryptonaut channel for withdrawing Stellar from Lobster and withdrawing XRP from Uphold directly to a Ledger hardware wallet. Those videos may help you out, but I think you're very right, CEH. I think we need a new one. And so that's something that we're going to have to do. Maybe Friday would actually be a great day to make Friday just a moving to a hardware wallet day. And in that way, folks can ask questions as we go. And so someone make certain to remind me, but I'm going to go ahead and say at this point that Friday we're going to do a hardware setup, and we're going to send some cryptos back and forth to a hardware wallet. I'm going to try to jot that down so that I make certain that that I remember that's what we're doing on Friday. All right. But no, that would be a good idea because I bet there's a bunch of people that would enjoy doing that walkthrough with someone to ask at the same time. Howdy there, Richard. Hope that you're not busting too many knuckles working in the shop today. What's up, Vin and Paige? All right, guys. Oh, howdy, David. Thanks so much for the apple. And what's up, Sam? All right, guys. Sorry if I miss anybody. I'm going to try to catch up and hit any questions I see along the way. Yeah, GG Zester, I know many of us thought this wouldn't happen for a little bit. I actually, and we talked about it on Monday, and so it's extremely fresh. And I had said at that point it could happen literally any minute, or it could happen in a year. And I think, and what we're seeing right now is we saw the Trump effect. The Trump card was played. The SEC said, never mind, it's not worth it. Let's bail. And that's how we ended up where we're at. XRP and the Ripple team was signaling they planned on fighting out. They did not just plan on paying up. And it turns out that they called the SEC's bluff. The SEC drops all charges. This is huge because remember on Monday we were talking that there were really two things that needed to go ahead and happen and just kind of get out of the way. One was the SEC. That happened. The other one was the ETFs, which we saw with Solana and we saw with future trading that it's incoming. Well, now with SEC dropping the case against XRP, we can expect to see XRP ETFs and future trading extremely soon. We're probably talking less than a month, in all honesty. It's another one of those. We could hear the announcement right now. It could have already happened today, and I just haven't heard about it yet. Or it could happen in the next couple of months. But most likely, we will see the announcement of XRP ETFs and future trading within the next 30 days. That's going to be another catalyzing event. And that's going to go ahead and jump us up another little price increase and continue to break us away from the general cryptocurrency trend right now, which is downward in the case of Bitcoin and Ethereum. And so we're on a far faster track, I think, than we could have possibly hoped for, GG. We're now looking at moving towards another big bump very, very soon because there's no more impediment. The only impediment was the SEC. It's just you don't tend to like to do business with people and their company when their company is in court. And that was really the only thing holding it back. Now, please, and thank you, Kukla, which I probably already talked a little too much before I read this one off. Guys, please do remember that the content in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes and is not intended to provide financial advice. Please consult with a financial professional before making investment decisions. Very important one to make certain that I read. Thank you, Kukla. Hey there, Elvis Parisi. Good evening to you as well. What's up, Flying Eagle? What is up? Charlene 321. Zester, I still haven't invested in crypto, mostly because my phone is my only electronic. I remember you saying using a phone is not the best device to use. Should I go ahead and use my phone? Charlene, that's a really good question. And so the way that I break that down, and the way that to me keeps it simple, is that remember that walking around with your phone and having your crypto on your phone, that you should view it very similarly to walking around with your wallet. You know, I'm walking around with these things every day. I have to have them. I can't function without them. As much as the Democrats claim you don't need an ID, you need an ID to literally live life. I have to have these things. I have to be able to pay for something. I have to have my driver's license. I have to have my information. I have to have my phone. And so I do not carry in my wallet more money than I plan on spending that day. Maybe an emergency, I'll have a little bit extra. And I think you should keep the same mindset with your phone. And so, Charlene, if you're just starting and you're investing small amounts of dollars into cryptocurrency and you're really just learning and you plan on moving that crypto onto a hardware wallet at some point in the future, Use your phone. It's the same idea. You've walked around with $500 in your wallet or purse someday because you needed to in order to do something. You walk around with sometimes $1,000 cell phone in your pocket also. If it has $500 of crypto on it, I would not be worried. I break it down that way, Charlene, because I am talking more towards the long-term perspective. We're talking about what happens when your crypto is worth big money and you don't want to have it sitting on your phone. It's better to go ahead and have that plan figured out. But Charlene, if you're just planning on getting started, get started. Buy some crypto on your phone, store it on your phone, use it, interact with it, but go ahead and start planning out, okay, in the future, I'm going to move my crypto to a hardware wallet. And in that regard, I think you would be very, very safe. Very, very safe to go about that. That's how most everyone starts. Like 99.99% of all crypto investors start by buying a little bit of crypto on their phone, and then they evolve. You can buy a Ledger hardware wallet that connects to your phone. And so in the long run, you don't even need to get more tech savvy or computer savvy. You can always stick to your phone. The hardware wallet just costs a bit more, and you have to take into consideration some different security measures. But no, Charlene, I would not be worried. I would just keep in mind that tenet. And essentially the tenet is do not carry more cryptocurrency on your phone than you would carry in your wallet or purse. And if you think about it that way, it makes it really easy because that allows for every person to have their own risk tolerance. If you can tolerate losing $1,000, carry it around. If you can't tolerate losing $1,000, don't carry it around. I know I can, so I can't tolerate that degree of loss. So I keep on my phone maybe a couple $100 in crypto ever. And it's only because I'm actively doing something. I'm planning on spending that money. Gary, now that XRP is free, what can we expect in the crypto world? Well, Gary, I would expect for there to be more of a breakaway. And so let's go ahead and get our trusty CoinGecko up here. I would expect there to start being a little bit more of a break in terms of the pricing or the value or the connection or correlation between the value of Bitcoin and XRP. And so, as we've talked about many times, where Bitcoin goes, the market goes. Bitcoin go up, crypto go up. Bitcoin go down, your crypto goes down. It's overly simplistic because it's extremely true. It's a direct correlation. I would expect us to start seeing more of a break from that trend, Gary. Even starting now, we can see it already on a micro level. But I would expect to see it more and more so. The price of XRP not being directly correlated to the price of Bitcoin. And that's a very important thing to have happen. Until it essentially can float on its own, it will forever be the redheaded stepchild of Bitcoin. And by having that price actually break away, which, it's obviously done in the past couple of days, but what's more important is does it maintain that? As we look here and we look at the overall chart on XRP over a year, and so this is the 1 year chart, you can always kind of play around here to see over time how things have happened. And then we go over to the Bitcoin chart and we put it on the same 1 year. The more and more we see these charts actually start to differ, the more that is a true sign of XRP's strength. Most cryptos really are reliant upon Bitcoin and Ethereum to give them value. Bitcoin and Ethereum are the underlying asset for the vast majority of other cryptocurrencies. And that's where it becomes very important to go from being a reliant on another asset in the same way that you can imagine many different countries are. Many countries peg their dollar, or just about all of them, peg their currency to the US dollar. And so when they do that, that's a great thing if the US dollar is doing really well. If the US dollar is doing poorly, having pegged your currency to the US dollar is extremely bad, because now you are losing value because you are some nation somewhere in the world because of the US dollar's issues. And you can kind of think about it in the same way. If you're in that situation and you're one of those currencies that's tied to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin really has a disproportionate effect on the value of your currency, that's a bad thing in regards to your overall strength, your independence. XRP breaking away is really one of those stepping stones towards XRP being able to reach some of the price points it's capable of. It needs to break away from Bitcoin. It needs to be able to stand on its own. And I think that is what's really changed, Gary. For right now, we're seeing the beginning of XRP being able to stand on its own. Whether it does stand on its own, well, we're going to all find out together. I know my portfolio sure is counting on it being able to stand on its own. So for right now, Gary, that was the major change, is that we're seeing the beginning of XRP being able to break away from some of the other cryptos. We're seeing the beginning of XRP being able to be accepted in terms of traditional finance, because no traditional financial institution was going to accept XRP while the SEC had an open lawsuit. Now we might have companies saying, hey, we want to be paid in XRP. Now that's an actual possibility. That was not a possibility just 48 hours ago. All right. Uh-oh, Michelle Newth. All right. Hi, Zester and friends and all listening, but hands are tied up. Well, Michelle, why are your hands tied up? Blink 3 times if you need us to call someone. Glad that you're here, Michelle. Oh, CEH Private Natural Way. Thank you. I have the cold wallet ledger off of Amazon. Oh, that's perfect then. That is absolutely perfect. Mary Jones, QQQ, Zester, do I have my Coinbase and Ledger wallet on the same device to send my crypto Coinbase to Ledger? Okay, Mary Jones. I'm not positive on the question there. Zester, do I have my Coinbase and Ledger wallet on the same device to send my crypto Coinbase to Ledger? Are you talking about having your Ledger Live on the same phone, or your Ledger hardware wallet on the same computer that you're also using Coinbase? And so, Mary Jones, in both of those cases, that's no problem. You can use Coinbase, the website, on the same computer that you have your Ledger Live application downloaded on. It actually is much easier if you do, and there is no danger in having that. There's no security risk. There's no worry at all. It actually makes life much, much easier. So I would actually recommend doing this. I would have the same Ledger Live on the same computer that you do your Coinbase on. Just remember to take security on that computer seriously. Don't go clicking on every random thing that pops up. Just kind of keep that in mind while you're using it. But remember, your Ledger Live is pretty much infallible if you follow the rules. Ultimately, that application on your computer for Ledger Live is nothing more than a way for you to just keep track of your portfolio. Until you plug your hardware device in, it's useless. No one can take anything from your computer if it's on your Ledger. If it's on your Ledger hardware wallet, they cannot take it because they hacked your computer. That isn't going to help them. So yes, you are okay there, Mary Jones. No worries. Robin Parker. Hi, Zester. I have a MetaMask account that was started on the DeFi Oracle platform. I think DeFi Oracle is out of business. Is there a way to move it elsewhere? And so, okay, Robin, all you will need to do is you can download the MetaMask wallet extension on any browser, or You can download the MetaMask wallet application onto any phone. You're going to need to go get your mnemonic seed phrase. And what you're going to do is when you download that extension, instead of clicking that I would like to create a new wallet, you're going to click that you would like to import a wallet. All you'll do is type in your secret phrase from that MetaMask account, and bam, you'll have access to all the crypto that was stored on that account in the past. And so essentially all you're having to do is go out and make or reinstate your wallet. But don't worry, Robin, in that situation, everything that was stored on your MetaMask wallet should still be there exactly where it was. All right, Hong Kong. I'm not certain if I got that pronunciation correct. Please do let me know. I think I was fairly close. Zester, what do you think? Hardware wallet, i.e., Ledger or Fireblock, which is safest, and would you put all your crypto into custody? Okay, the reason is quantum hack, and so I would not be overly worried on that one. If I were you, and I were worried about keeping my cryptocurrency separated or stored onto separate devices, you can create a secret vault on a Ledger hardware wallet. And so that's one option. You can have two separate wallets, one of them that is even extra secured behind the other on your Ledger. Or you could have multiple different ledgers with different things. Or you could have a Trezor hardware wallet and you could have a Ledger hardware wallet. I would say for me personally, I do not worry about that. I store all of my long-term savings crypto on a variety of ledgers. I personally have more than one, but that's just because of work. They really don't have much on them. It's just better to separate funds. And so I wouldn't be that worried. And I talked about this one during the Quantum Financial Summit. And so the worry of a quantum hack is something that has been thrown out there in the crypto world a lot. And a lot of folks will say, well, what happens when a quantum computer is invented? It'll be able to hack the blockchain. And my response to that is yes, it probably will be able to hack certain blockchains. If the blockchains do not upgrade, which there are already quantum resistant blockchains already. And there are blockchains that already have the update provided. They just have not updated to quantum resistance. The reason that it's not such a worry is because if a quantum computer were invented, it could take control of every nuclear weapon on the planet. Our Bitcoin and our XRP are not going to be target number one for the first person to invent a quantum computer. And so I don't view quantum computing as a danger. I'm not in terms of my finances. If a quantum computer is developed and it is developed by a malicious actor, say a nation that wants to take over the world or something, if that were to happen, I'm going to be far more worried about how much freeze-dried food I have stored in my basement and how much lead I have stored in my safe than I am going to be on anything else. It would be the end of the world, as we know. There would be no more worry about the financial system. A quantum computer could literally take over every nuclear silo on the planet in the same second. They don't care about our money. Our money is not important. They could shut down the internet. Just flat out shut it down. They could shut down the Pentagon. That is how powerful a true quantum computer would be. And so keep that in mind whenever the worry about quantum computing comes up. Remember that the really important thing here is quantum resistance. What I want to hear is that our blockchains and our financial system is quantum resistant. I'm not worried about if it's quantum. I'm worried if it's quantum resistant. And so that is something for us to keep in mind as we progress towards the future in terms of this new financial system that is happening in front of our eyes. We're going to have to remember that there is a danger there. But ultimately, that danger is really more of an existential crisis for humanity, more so than it is a crisis for crypto. I hope I know I get off on a tangent. Sorry about that one, man. I go everywhere when I start talking about quantum, because quantum resistance is what I really see as being the important topic. And also, I see it as being more of a philosophical topic than being a real world topic. It's more like we could discuss Socrates for a long time. And yes, it's important. And yes, it's something everyone should read. But ultimately, at a certain point, we got to start digging the ditches. All right. Hey, Terry Hugh. Hey, Zester, the Onyx coin. Oh, I don't know how to get it off of Coinbase. Will there be a class on that? I'll have to write that one down. And yes, I know I've done some research on that one, but we'll have to add that into the class on Friday, Terry. And so Onyx on Ledger will be a part of the Friday stream, because we're already going to be moving over other cryptos to our Ledger hardware wallet, so we'll just add it in. Yep, Captain Spiffy, a Bluetooth hardware wallet works on a cell phone. It absolutely does. Kim, question, are there many businesses that take crypto as payment? If so, which ones? If you know. Thank you, Zester. Appreciate your knowledge. Well, Kim, there are some. There are actually some gold websites, some precious metal websites that accept it. Shameless self-plug here. You can buy Freedom Forge coffee and the Freedom Forge mushroom tinctures with XRP or any crypto. We enabled the ability on all of our sites the second that Trump was inaugurated. We've had the ability to do it for years. We just never did enable the ability for businesses to accept crypto because of the legal worries. And so, Kim, there are businesses right now that accept crypto, and far more businesses are going to start accepting crypto in the coming months. And so expect to see a tidal shift in that regard, because businesses want to accept crypto. They save money. They're giving the credit card company less money. They're getting instant access to their money. They love it. Businesses love the idea. They've only not done it because of all the hurdles. And those hurdles are falling down in front of our very eyes at this point in human history. And so it's going to really start getting a whole lot faster. But for now, you can go to, I think it was Money Metals. There's a few different precious metal websites, which I would not recommend using them because I talked to Miles Franklin. But there are places that are accepting, and more places are going to start accepting soon, because it took 30 seconds. It took 30 seconds to make it happen. It is so easy to accept crypto as payment. It just doesn't happen because of all of the legal worries. So it's coming. Miss Sadie D, I am behind. What is the best crypto wallet? I always recommend the Ledger hardware wallet, Miss Sadie. There's a link in the description of the video. It'll save you some money, but I always recommend it because it's the #1 hardware wallet on the planet, and it's what all the companies and businesses use. It's what I use when I'm working on a project for a company that's trying to launch any form of a cryptocurrency. I set them up on a Ledger hardware wallet. And so if you're storing it for the future, Miss Sadie, and it's a long-term investment, I highly recommend a Ledger. If you're just planning on spending it on a daily basis, or you're only going to buy a little bit, just use a free wallet. You can use any of the different ones that are available for XRP. There's a buttload of them. You could just keep your crypto on the exchange. Buy on Coinbase, leave it right there if it's only a small amount. And so you don't have to have one right off the bat, Miss Sadie. But if you're buying XRP and you're planning on holding it for the future, I'd highly recommend the ledger. All right. Yep. Windy Lou, Friday is going to be the day. That is going to be the day. We're going to do it again on Friday. That way everybody can ask. We will. Yep. All right, though, guys. Looking for any more? Yeah, GG, Zester. I want to buy XTC, and Coinbase doesn't have an option to buy. Oh, GG, that's one of those. That is one of the ones that I noticed a lot of people have had a hard time being able to get access to purchasing. I am not positive, but I seem to remember that XTC can be purchased off of either Lobster or Uphold. If Uphold is an option, GG, I would highly recommend using Uphold. Lobster should be your absolute worst case scenario. Please, that's a universal thing for everybody out there in the community. Do not use Lobster unless you have to. But also, don't overthink using these different exchanges. If you're using the exchange, exchanges are meant to be used and then left. They are a tool. And so go to what exchange you need in order to buy XTC. I have a video that is very, very helpful on the channel for how to get XTC onto your Ledger hardware wallet. And so use that video, make your purchase of XTC, remove your XTC from the exchange. I'll have to go back and watch the video. I believe that I bought XTC on Lobster. That's what I'm remembering right now. I could easily be wrong. I'll have to go back and look. But yes, no, it is not available. You can store it on your Ledger, though, because I know you can. I made it happen. I have some stored on my Ledger. Booger, Crazy Kryptonite. I know someone that got her money taken out of her Lobster account today. She's livid. How can that happen? Lobster is not your wallet. Lobster is a centralized exchange. And now, Booger, I would go ahead and say there could be something else going on. I would need to know a little bit more about the situation. But there's a reason that I'm always anti-Lobster. Since the point that I started this channel, and even before that, when I was answering questions that would come into the original Mark Z, no exchange has had more issues than Lobster. Not one. I've never heard about another one. I used Lobster, and I've used Lobster, and I've never had a problem. But many, many people have. And so, Booger, I would need to know a little bit more. But still, I would need to know a little bit more. But just remember, Lobster is a third party. It's not self-custody. Self-custody means you hold the keys. The only point of failure is you. Whenever it is a custodial wallet, which Lobster is a custodial wallet, then you have the keys and Lobster has the keys. And that opens you up to a lot of potential issues. Because now I don't know, Booger, if it is her. Maybe she gave her password to somebody. Or maybe she got hacked on her computer and they got her login to her Lobster account. Or maybe Lobster had a security failure on their end and Lobster messed up and gave out her account information. It's very hard to know. It's very hard to know. And so I'm glad to see that it was not a lot, Booger, but I know how painful that is. And so I bet she's pissed. I would be pissed off. Even if it was a couple dollars, I'd be pissed. Absolutely. CEH, private natural body. What time on Friday for the cold wallet class? 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so we'll be live on YouTube, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday. All right, trying to catch up. Lots of good questions today, guys. Really, really happy with all of them. Nature Girl, Bitcoin tanks, like goes to zero. Will all coins tied to Bitcoin go to zero also? Nature Girl, if Bitcoin goes to zero, crypto will be thrown back to the dark ages, the Stone Age, essentially. Nature Girl, all cryptos will not go to zero, but many will. I would say 90 plus percent would go to zero in that situation if somehow Bitcoin went to zero. I don't think Bitcoin will ever go to zero. I think Bitcoin could very easily lose a lot of value, but I don't think it'll go to zero. If it does, then yeah, we would be back to 2012. It'd be 2012 again. And we'd be looking around for the next best thing, or one of the cryptos would have survived. And that could be that event where XRP becomes the dominant cryptocurrency. But it would hurt. XRP would hurt. Ethereum would hurt. Everybody would hurt in a very, very large way, Nature Girl. We would, yeah, you would not want to check your crypto each morning. It would not be fun. Yeah, Booger. We got to get you a Booger token. I'll get you a Booger token going whenever you're ready for it, man. You can send everybody in the whole community some free Booger token whenever. James Nixon, first time on. How do I buy XRP? Coinbase, I heard. Do they send it to you, or do you need to buy something? So, James, what you need to do is you need to go ahead and send some money to Coinbase, and then come join us on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard, because I'll show you how to remove it from Coinbase and get it onto a hardware wallet. Because, James, when you buy XRP on Coinbase, your XRP will stay with Coinbase. Coinbase will have your XRP. You can then remove that XRP from Coinbase and put it wherever you want. I would highly recommend putting it onto your own wallet. And so Friday will actually be perfect, James. So definitely write that one down. You're going to get all your answers in full detail at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard on Friday. But you can go ahead and buy XRP with the understanding that it's going to be sitting on Coinbase. That's where it'll be, James. It will be your account. It will be your XRP, but Coinbase will be storing your XRP for you. Perfect, Booger. GG, I have a ledger. Does it work with Uphold? You can send from Uphold directly to your ledger. And so all you'll do is you'll log into your Uphold. You'll pull up your Ledger Live. You'll copy your wallet address from Ledger. You'll paste it into Uphold, and you'll click send. But we'll do Uphold also on Friday, assuming that all of these services let me use them. We will do all of them live. Yep. Yeah, I have Uphold too, and bought the Ledger Stick on Amazon. That's perfect, CH. You are all set. You've got all the tools needed. All we got to do is do a little bit of a lesson on how to use the tools, and you're good to go. Terry Huey, to Uphold, is it considered good because it's connected to the bank? Terry, I like that feature because it drastically reduces fees, and it drastically reduces the time necessary to move money into crypto and then back out to fiat. And so I do appreciate that feature, Terry. And that does lend some legitimacy to the company, but in and of itself, It's not the end all be all. I just do like the Uphold exchange, and it is very good. It's very accessible, and there really are a lot of them. You know, Milwaukee makes a great hammer. Klein makes a great hammer. You know, Snap-on makes great tools. There are tons of different brands. Ultimately, a hammer is a hammer is a hammer. And these exchanges are hammers. And so keep that in mind. It's all about how you use them. All of these exchanges essentially serve the same purpose. Just figure out how much are they going to cost you and go with the guarantees if you don't want to go through and dig into the mud. And the guarantees are Coinbase and Uphold, essentially. Now, not financial advice. It could easily go wrong, but I use those exchanges. So I'll be in the same boat with you. Savvy, do the banks hold Bitcoin? Actually, let's jump in and let's talk about some of our stories today, because that directly correlates with some of the things we're about to talk about. So, of course, as we've already discussed, SEC has dropped its case against Ripple. Huge, 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 huge news. This is a gigantic win. Absolutely. For all XRP holders and for the cryptocurrency market as a whole. This is great news. The SEC is backing down. But here we go. And so, Savvy, fintechs and crypto companies sync bank charters for growth. That's something that we're going to start seeing, is that what an exchange really is, a centralized exchange. It's a bank. Coinbase is a bank. By essentially every different metric of what makes a bank, Coinbase is a bank. They store funds for you. You have access and can withdraw those funds. You can send those funds to other centralized exchanges, i.e. other banks. You can access lending and you can access financial vehicles through Coinbase the same way that you can through a bank. It's a bank. Coinbase is a bank. It's a centralized exchange, but it's providing the same services that a bank typically would. A bank lets you exchange between different foreign currencies. A bank allows you to store those foreign currencies in different ways. You could store it in a security deposit box. Well, that's a lot like storing it in a bank-owned or hardware wallet. Or you could store it in your checking account or your savings account. Your savings account is a lot like having crypto on Coinbase and staking it. You're staking it in order to earn a return. And so in all honesty, that's a savings account. Your checking account is your average, everyday, regular Coinbase account. It's the money you planned on spending. You have immediate access to it. You can transfer that money to another bank. You can transfer it to another exchange. You can transfer it to another currency. And so, Savvy, what we're seeing is really the blending of the two. And so I would say, yes, banks currently hold Bitcoin. We know that many traditional banks already own Bitcoin through investments that they're providing for their customers or personally for themselves. But also, as we move towards the future, there's really going to become a blurring of the line. A centralized exchange and a bank, I mean, they have different names, but a bank is really just a centralized exchange, and a centralized exchange is really just a bank. And so that was something I was really excited to talk about today, and your question kind of shoehorned me right into that conversation, Savvy. Arlene Calderon, hi, Zester. Good to see you. And glad I listened to you about lobster. My prayers are answered about you not doing a Zoom with Margaritaville. Love you bunches, little brother out. Thank you so much. Love you guys as well. Thank you so much, Arlene. Charlene, I always thought Bitcoin would go to zero. They don't want to reinvent the wheel. And so I know for a lot of folks, and that was very, very big messaging around the internet. And I do not believe Bitcoin will go to zero. It would essentially take away the foundational strength and stability that blockchain technology has established. I do think that it's not going to be the end all be all. It's not the final form. It's evolution. It's fire to the steam powered engine. It's evolution. And so I don't think Bitcoin's ever going to zero, going away. And I don't think that Trump would honestly be supporting it if he or any of his advisors believed that was possible. And I don't believe that he would lie to us and trick us into buying it if he did. And so I'm not on the Bitcoin going to zero. What I do think is very logical is that Bitcoin is not the final form of blockchain technology or crypto, but I don't think it'll ever go away. At least not in the foreseeable future. Ask me 20 years from now, I may be incredibly wrong, or Bitcoin may be dying. That is a whole other possibility occurs out there on a longer timeline. Savvy, are you saying it? Hammer time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Terry. So basically, Coinbase and Uphold are good because of those reasons. Because yes, you have direct proof of ownership on them. It doesn't mean that you should leave thousands of dollars sitting on your Coinbase or your Uphold. I would highly recommend you do not. But it means they're probably the safest for you to buy your crypto on and then transfer over to a safe storage spot. Crazy Chester, wouldn't a dog on a submarine be a subwoofer? Hey, this sounds true to me. Zester, I bought the Nano S Plus ledger stick. Is that okay? That's the one that I love. That's the one that I use. It does require a computer. That, or you can get a cord that allows you to plug a USB device into a phone. That is another option for Android users. As a matter of fact, I was surprised there are actually a fairly large amount of members of the community who do that. They use a cord that allows them to connect a USB device to their Android phone, and it's been working perfectly for them. And so that's another great idea and another way to have the coldest of wallets in terms of the way I view them, while also being able to use your phone to interact with it. All right. Yeah, exactly. Bitcoin could, but it'd be many years from now and another crypto would take its place. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I'm a fan of XLM, also CEH, and I don't view markets as having a singular winner. I view markets as needing to have competition. Laissez-faire capitalism would not account or not allow for a world in which XRP is just the only one. That, in my opinion, would be very bad. And so I see XLM, XRP, and Chainlink, Bitcoin, Ethereum. I see them all existing in the same world, and them all having specific specializations, things that they're best at. XRP maybe is best for for foreign trades and for companies and governments to interact back and forth in a very, very fluid and cheap manner. Maybe XRP wins in that regard. Maybe XLM wins in tokenizing silver or tokenizing houses or car deeds or car titles. I mean, there's so many other things. And so I have XLM, I have XRP, I have Bitcoin, I have Ethereum, I have a lot of different cryptos. I don't view anyone as being the only option. I think that could be a great idea, but it sounds a lot like that old euphemism of you don't put all your eggs in the same basket. All right, though, guys, we do have Whiskey and Wisdom coming up in not too long of a time, and also the original Mark Z over on Rumble coming up in just a matter of 10 minutes. And so I will see everyone that wants to come hang out for Whiskey and Wisdom. Guarantee there will be a little bit of whiskey. No promises on whether there'll be any wisdom this evening, but I would love to see y'all there. Hope y'all can join. Beyond that, 6 p.m. on Friday. Tell your friends, tell your dog, tell everybody. I'm going to do the entire process live so that people can ask questions. And so please take advantage of that. We'll make certain to highlight that video for those that can't be there while it's live so that folks can go back and watch. But I think that's probably one of the most common questions I get. So we're going to knock it out again. We got this. Love you guys. See you at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard for Whiskey and Wisdom. This week it will only be on Rumble also. So keep that in mind when you are looking for it. If you're looking on YouTube, you're not going to find us. Compliments of the great overlords of censorship that are the company that actually we're currently chatting on. So see you there.